Right now, shots are fired at Madison's Westtown Mall, triggering a police response. What police are saying happened just before the noon hour. Also, it's been a steady flow of campaign visits as we get closer to Election Day. Tonight, a News 3 Now one-on-one talk with the wife of Minnesota Governor, Vice Presidential nominee Tim Walz. And it's distribution day for our Coach for Kids collection drive. The clock is ticking. We'll tell you where you can go to make sure your family's prepared for winter. You're watching News 3 Now at 5. And we have breaking news at this hour. The Harris-Walz campaign announcing a Get Out the Vote rally with a large string of musical artists. The rally planned for next Wednesday on the UW campus. Vice President Kamala Harris will be there, joined on stage by Gracie Abrams, Mumford & Sons, Remy Wolf, and the Nationals' Matt Berninger, along with Aaron Dessner. The artists plan to perform as part of the When We Vote, We Win concert and rally series. If you're interested in attending, head to events.democrats.org. And we have an update to breaking news we brought you earlier today. Police say so far no injuries have been reported after an incident where shots were fired at Westtown Mall. Our Ellie Liberté is right outside where it happened live, and she joins us to tell us what happened. Ellie?
Yeah, Eric, police responded to the scene around 11:30 this morning. They say that two individuals were involved. They got into an argument near a cell phone store. That's when one individual pulled out a gun and fired a single shot at the other, again, inside the mall. Those two then ran out of the mall and got into a vehicle. Again, no injuries have been reported at this time. Police Chief Sean Barnes did say that businesses did the right thing by going on lockdown.
We know that the mall practices lockdown drills in the event of an emergency. We know that that worked very well today, and that the stores went into their drill protocols without having to be told, which we think created some calm.
Now, we also spoke to mall employees and visitors who were impacted by that lockdown. Take a listen.
I was just at the store shopping, and my husband and my daughter were at a different store in a different wing, and all of a sudden I heard a pop, and it was really loud.
Deborah Schultz was in Westtown Mall when the shot was fired.
And I dropped my clothes, and I instantly ran down the mall, and people were closing their doors.
She and her family sheltered in a game store.
And we all hunkered down there just until now.
Schultz was one of many impacted. Maria Ribadello works at Sephora and was about to clock in for her shift when police told her the mall was on lockdown.
There's yellow tape at the front doors and that they're not letting anyone in. And I called my manager and my coworkers, and they all said that they're hiding in the back room with all the clients.
But Ribadello's glad everyone is safe.
They're all okay. No one's been hurt, so that's good news.
Nearby high school Vel Phillips Memorial also went into a secure hold during this period to help students avoid the area. That hold was lifted at 1 p.m. Now, police are asking anyone with any information regarding this event to contact Crime Stoppers. We'll continue to keep you updated both on air and online as we learn more. But for now, reporting live outside Westtown Mall, Ellie Liberté, News 3 Now.
Ellie, thank you. And this is not the first time Madison malls have seen incidents where shots were fired. In 2015, just a few days before Christmas, at Easttown, they were put on lockdown after a dispute led to a 19-year-old being shot in the leg. And then just under a month later, there was another incident at Westtown, appeared to be gang-related. No one was injured at that time. We fast forward then to this year. In January, people told police they were shot at near the Easttown Mall, although no one was injured. And then only a few weeks later, the Westtown Mall closed briefly following shots fired outside the food court. No injuries were reported in that incident either. We now have an update from Madison police in regards to a man who died outside a Westside Hy-Vee grocery earlier this week. Officers say that on Tuesday they were called to the Hy-Vee on Whitney Way for a welfare check of a man stuck in a donation bin outside the store. First responders attempted life-saving measures on the 49-year-old man, but he was pronounced dead on the scene. Nothing suspicious was found at the scene. Officers say there are no indications of foul play. Let's get a look at your first warn forecast now. Here's Chief Meteorologist Alex Harrington. He joins us from the weather patio. Alex?
Across southern Wisconsin, we ended up having those showers move out pretty quickly this morning and then replaced by the sunny skies. There's a bit of a breeze out here. It puts a bit of a chill in the air. Let's take a look at our temperatures across southern Wisconsin right now. 58 in Madison, 61 to the southeast in Janesville, and 59 to the west in the Wisconsin River Valley. In Dane County, a lot of 58s, 59s, a couple of 60s. That's where we said we'd end up today, and that's where we ended up today. We do have the Badger Homecoming Parade about ready to commence at 6 o'clock. Temperatures will slip through the 50s through the game, or through the parade, and if you're heading in that direction, I encourage you to dress warmly, but when can you put the shorts back on? We got 80-degree weather in the forecast.
All right, Alex, thank you. And the UW homecoming, as Alex mentioned, is here. Alums are back on campus celebrating everything Cardinal and white. The parade kicks off in an hour. Tanisha Shaw live on the route in Tanisha. Downtown's getting packed for the festivities tonight.
Yeah. Yes, you can see the people walking behind me. I'm right on State Street. Behind me is where you'll see the parade end up passing through. I'm actually here with one of the lead organizers over the homecoming parade and other festivities. This is Winton Wright. You're the president of UW Homecoming Committee. So tell me, what's new this year?
Yeah, so this year we just wanted to build on our events kind of in the past, and you'll see the big culmination of that right here with the parade tonight as well.
Okay, and as a president, I'm sure you spent months organizing this. What's your favorite part that's going to play out today?
My favorite part would definitely be the parade, both the Spirit Parade on Tuesday and then the parade that we have today going down State Street in Langdon. It's a big culmination of kind of all the different 80-plus organizations and outside community organizations as well, that we kind of see what everyone's doing on campus in the surrounding community area.
Absolutely, and we know the parade is a big draw, but there's another big event that's happening tonight.
Exactly. So tonight is the Yard Show, and we're very excited for that. So we have roughly 8 of the 9 Divine Nine, or National Panhellenic Council, as well as the Multicultural Greek Council, and we're really excited to see what everyone has been working on to kind of see what they can showcase for tonight for the Yard Show.
Okay, and you're a member of Greek Life, so tell me, why are events like this significant?
Yes, exactly. So I'm a member of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, the Gamma Epsilon chapter, and this is very important because it kind of is like going back to our roots and able to showcase kind of what we are able to do and the different things that we hold dear to our communities.
Are there any other events that you're looking forward to this weekend?
Yeah, I would say the game is going to be very exciting tomorrow. It's a 6:30 game. We don't see those very often, and against a great team, number 3 Penn State.
Absolutely, Winton, thank you. We're going to have more on the game, the tailgate, the parade, everything tonight at 6, and we'll continue covering these events tomorrow. Back to you, Eric.
All right, Tanisha, thank you. And in the final stretch of the campaign, candidates are flooding the airwaves with millions of dollars in TV ads, according to the experts who track those ad buys. That just shows how competitive the races are here in Wisconsin, with both sides betting big on their candidates.
Most donors want to give to somebody who's going to be a winner because, you know, otherwise you're not going to be able to kind of get the return on your investment, right? Like if you contribute to a loser and they don't take office, you don't have someone who's going to take your meetings.
Both sides are pouring money into Wisconsin because they each think they have a good chance to win it. You can see more from the conversation on Sunday morning at 10:30 on For the Record. With less than 2 weeks until Election Day, both the major party candidates and their surrogates are continuing to address Wisconsin voters. News 3 Now spoke one-on-one with Gwen Walz, the First Lady of Minnesota, the wife of Vice Presidential nominee Tim Walz, to talk campaign goals, family and reproductive rights, a proud advocate of IVF and alternative methods of starting a family. We asked Gwen Walz why she shares details of her personal fertility journey on the campaign trail.
And we wanted everyone who wanted the option to make their own choice in reproductive freedom, in reproductive rights, to have the same rights that we did, whether that would be to seek fertility treatments or birth control or not having children at all.
Is set to join First Lady Dr. Jill Biden on the Wisconsin campaign trail next week, traveling to La Crosse on Monday. And just a short while ago in Oregon, Wisconsin Senate candidate Eric Hovde was joined by former Hawaii Congresswoman and former presidential candidate Tulsi Gabbard. That stop, one of 2 on Hovde's Time for Change tour. Hovde's first stop was in Green Bay, where he toured the Amerilux family of companies to speak with local businesses. And then Hovde and Gabbard spoke at a Trump Unity event at 5 at Bridges Farm in Oregon.
What does Donald Trump and Eric Hovde want? We want to preserve our free market capitalist system that's created more prosperity for this country than any country in human history.
Who gets to decide who the good guys and the bad guys are?
Well, that's why I wanted to talk about.
Exactly. Who gets to decide what is misinformation and disinformation? Who gets to decide what is hate speech or offensive speech? Those are very, very subjective things, and according to them, they're the only ones who get to make those decisions.
His opponent, incumbent Democratic Senator Tammy Baldwin, recently celebrated completing 250 events and over 50 interviews this year. In a recent Quinnipiac poll, Pollsters are calling the race too close to call. Senator Baldwin with a slight 49 to 48% lead. Former President Donald Trump, who has endorsed Hovde, will be in Milwaukee next Friday at Fiserv Forum. Right now, Wisconsin State Superintendent Jill Underly is asking for just under $300 million to offer free meals to students statewide. This proposal, part of the Department of Public Instruction's 2025 to 2027 biennial budget request. Dr. Underly says, quote, access to food is one of the most basic human needs, and yet many Wisconsin kids are telling us they don't know when or if they will have their next meal, end quote. Superintendent Underly's proposal also asks for about $17 million to expand the breakfast program to independent schools, encourage schools to buy directly from farmers, and fund access to milk at schools. Just ahead, Chief Meteorologist Alex Harrington rejoins us. A complete look at your weekend firstborn forecast. And ground is broken on Ho-Chunk Gaming's new casino project in Beloit. A look at the scope of the development up next. And a mixed Friday closes the week on Wall Street. A 260-point fall for the Dow Jones Industrial Average. The Nasdaq adds 103 points. The S&P down less than 2. And we'll be right back.
You're watching News 3 Now, brought to you by Cardinal Heating and Air Conditioning.
The kindness, the efficiency, the respect was amazing.
From start to finish, they will take care of you.
I never hesitate with family, friends, neighbors to recommend Cardinal, and nobody has come back to me and said I was wrong.
I'm working harder than ever just to pay the bills and provide for my family. But here's what Kamala Harris thought my money should go to instead. Job training for illegal immigrants, even after they commit crimes in America. Hotel rooms for illegal immigrants while our vets sleep on the street. Sex changes for illegal immigrants out of my pocket. Seriously, have these people lost their mind? Kamala Harris can never, ever be our president.
Preserve America PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Insanity. Doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result.
Would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind.
Kamala wouldn't change a thing? Their weakness invited wars, welfare for illegals, while Americans struggle. Now Kamala wants higher taxes on top of higher prices. We can't afford 4 more years of Kamala.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
With Sweeto Metal Roofing, you get quality metal roofs installed by the best in the business. A metal roof means no fading, no storm repairs, true sustainability, and lower energy bills.
Sweeto Metal Roofing, the last roof you'll ever need.
Eric Hovde's trying to scare you. The truth is, no sex change surgeries take place on minors in Wisconsin. 0. And Tammy Baldwin didn't give funding to a transgender clinic. It's actually a youth homeless shelter. Eric Hovde knows that. But he's a billionaire banker who thinks he can lie about anything, including falsely attacking Tammy Baldwin by questioning her personal life. Wisconsin's better than Eric Hovde.
I'm Tammy Baldwin, and I approve this message.
They've had 3.5 years to fix the border. Why hasn't she done it?
4 years, radical Kamala Harris created the border crisis. Thousands of accused murderers, rapists, even terrorists pour in. Each crime they commit makes American victims. Innocent victims of Kamala's open border agenda. They were bludgeoned, raped, strangled, stabbed, shot, and murdered. Kamala created the border crisis. She won't fix it now. Make America Great Again, Inc. is responsible for the content of this advertising.
We count on gasoline to power our cars, our tractors, our way of life. So why is a city slicker from Miami, Elizabeth Groppe, okay banning gas-powered vehicles? Extremists like Groppe want to eliminate fossil fuels, robbing hard-working families, farmers, and small businesses of their vehicles. Miami Liz's radical ideas hurt our families and our main streets. Don't let Groppe get away with it. Born and raised right here. Todd Novak is our independent voice for common sense, protecting our way of life.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5.
In Beloit, a massive, nearly 500,000 square foot casino is breaking ground, joining a series of other smaller slot-based casinos in the southern Wisconsin city. Ho-Chunk Gaming Beloit, a $405 million casino hotel and conference center, will feature up to 1,800 slot machines, 44 table games, sportsbook betting, 4 restaurants, and a casino bar. The project plans to add 312 rooms in its second phase. Construction is expected to wrap up sometime in 2026. It'll mark the second largest casino in Wisconsin. Ho-Chunk Gaming Beloit will be just 20 miles up the road from the Hard Rock Casino in Rockford. Our Coats for Kids campaign has wrapped up, and our distribution centers are handing out the last coats right now. We as a station want to thank everyone who helped donate and provide coats and winter wear to thousands of children in need in Dane County. We also want to thank Colony Brands for donating over 1,000 coats to the campaign. We received a whopping 4,072 donations, adding to the well over 300,000 coats donated in the 39 years of running this drive. Thank you also to the UW hockey program for helping out, and we will see you next year for the 40th anniversary of Coats for Kids. A look now at your first warn forecast. Here's Chief Meteorologist Alex Harrington joining us once again. Alex.
Eric, southern Wisconsin, we've got a little bit of fall and a little bit of summer and a little bit of stormy conditions. That's all part of the three things you have to get out of the forecast. A little patchy frost tonight, a seasonable weekend, a fall-like weekend, fall-like temperatures for a change. But then we warm up, and that warmer weather will bring stormy conditions by the time we get to next Tuesday going on into next Wednesday. Here's the frost potential and why. Low temperatures tonight getting down into the low to mid 30s across all of southern Wisconsin. Those low-lying areas, open areas will be most susceptible to that frost. And we've had a couple nights like this before. We'll warm up to seasonable temperatures. Take note here. Normal high temperature, 55 degrees. We'll see normal temperatures for a change. We've had a lot of 70s, a lot of 80s in our forecast, and we've got more 80s on the way, or at least upper 70s, which will be close to 80. Now, Badger football game Saturday. My advice for you, as temperatures stay into the 40s, by the end of the game we'll be in the lower 40s, just dress in fall-like clothes because it will be a little bit on the cool side for the game, but that's what we would expect for this time of year. And we expect a 56 for high temperature on Saturday, 61 on Sunday. Winds turn to the south on Sunday. When winds turn to the south, that's usually a signal that moisture is on the way and warmer weather is also on the way. And we need the moisture, as we pointed out last night. Drought conditions expanding across all of southern Wisconsin. But a cold front comes through. I was talking about this cold front now for the past couple of days, still in the cards for Wednesday, eyeing up Camp Douglas over towards Wautoma into southwestern Wisconsin. A line of thunderstorms right around 6 o'clock in the evening, a possibility. As we get towards 10 o'clock, that line moves into southern Wisconsin. I'm not going to be shocked if one or two of these storms, with the temperatures that we're going to have, the return of moisture, and what we call the dynamics, just the setup of this storm system, we could see some strong winds with some of these thunderstorms Wednesday evening. And then you may be wondering, well, what about Halloween, Alex? By the time we get to noon, that rain's off to the east, but it will be a bit on the breezy side going into Halloween night. So bottom line with this cold front, we're expecting a strong storm system next week. That cold front likely going to come through the area Wednesday evening, and a strong storm is not out of the question. Now here's the temperatures. Lows in the 60s. We wake up in the 60s Tuesday morning and Wednesday morning. That's the fuel we need for those thunderstorms Wednesday. We could use the raindrops. Hopefully we don't get any severe weather with that. We'll be keeping an eye on that. And first to let you know any changes with that cold front. And then Halloween Thursday itself, conditions will improve. It should be seasonable by the end of the day. Could be wet that following weekend. Just want to point out here really quick here, if you're going downtown for the parade, do expect travel delays. Otherwise, rest of traffic on the Beltline is going A-OK. I checked the traffic in Janesville and up by the Dells, and things are moving just fine in those locations.
Alex, thank you. The U.S. gaining rapidly on Europe when it comes to demand for electric vehicles. A look at some of the numbers when News 3 Now at 5 returns.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
I'm Joan Balwig, and I'm here to set the record straight. I support birth control, the life and health of mothers, extending postpartum care, and fertility treatments, including IVF. I'm Joan Balwig. I have always fought for Wisconsin moms, and I always will.
When it comes to your critical medical decisions, you should have the final say. But extreme politician Joan Balwig says you're wrong. She supports criminalizing abortion even after rape and incest. Or to save the life of the mother, Balwig would jail doctors for giving life-saving care. And Balwig even wrote the law that could deny women access to birth control. Joan Balwig would put extreme politicians in charge of your body and put all Wisconsin women in danger.
Insanity. Doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result.
Would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind.
Kamala wouldn't change a thing? Their weakness invited wars, welfare for illegals, while Americans struggle. Now Kamala wants higher taxes on top of higher prices. We can't afford 4 more years of Kamala.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
You have a clear choice in this election. Senator Baldwin is a 38-year career politician. I'm a businessman and job creator. She supports taxpayer benefits for illegal immigrants. I'll close the border. Tammy wants to put guys and girls sports in their bathrooms. I'll protect our daughters. Senator Baldwin abuses the political system. I'll fight the corruption. I'm Eric Hovde, and I approve this message. I'd be honored to have your vote.
When my husband got throat cancer, it wasn't just a health crisis. It was a financial one for my family. And that's something rural families know all too well. Joan Balwig voted against expanding affordable health care for rural families and against bringing drug costs down. And that's one reason I decided to run against her. I'm Sarah Kieski, and I'm running for state senate. Because when someone you love needs medical care, the last thing you should have to worry about is how to pay for it.
Meet Sarah Kieski. You might see her walking around in her Woke Genius t-shirt. Radical, just like the groups that support her. Kieski supporters want to defund the police. Her allies want to give voting rights to illegals and make it easier for felons to vote. And Kieski is backed by a group that wants to let criminals out early. Want to know where Sarah Kieski stands? Just look at the company she keeps.
Sarah Kieski, she supports lifting revenue limits, allowing property tax rates to skyrocket unchecked. Kieski's backers want to ban natural gas to heat our homes, driving utility bills through the roof. That's Kieski's record, expensive and extreme.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5.
The shift to electric cars is surging, with the U.S. outpacing Europe in quarterly sales for the first time. But when it comes to electrifying the industry, Norway is leading the race, as CBS's Tina Kraus reports.
When Vord Gunderson takes the wheel of his electric BMW,
it's very quiet. You know, you can't hardly hear anything.
He's helping Norway lead the charge in the shift to green vehicles, and says he's saving money too.
It was still much cheaper to buy a car like this than a traditional car, almost half price.
The Scandinavian country is on track to become the first nation in the world to sell only electric cars by next year, a decade ahead of its climate commitment. As the government pushes to get fossil fuel vehicles off the road, EVs now outnumber gas cars in Norway for the first time.
It's not because people want to save the climate first and foremost that they buy electric cars. It's because of the tax system and our regulation and the incentives that are given.
Those include no tolls, free parking and charging, and a green light to use bus lanes. Electric perks in a country that's a major oil and gas producer. Leaders acknowledge the green habit takes time getting used to.
You need to start charging the car instead of filling it with petrol or diesel. So work with your consumers and with the people in the country. Then they will take part and embrace that change.
I have it like this.
And as Gunderson powers back up for his next ride, he hopes others will steer toward the greener path. Tina Kraus, CBS News.
And Norway has free electric vehicle chargers in every Norwegian city, with 2,000 of them in the capital city of Oslo. And we'll be right back with a final check of your First Warn forecast.
They've had 3.5 years to fix the border. Why hasn't she done it?
For years, radical Kamala Harris created the border crisis. Thousands of accused murderers, rapists, even terrorists pour in. Each crime they commit makes American victims. Innocent victims of Kamala's open border agenda. They were bludgeoned, raped, strangled, stabbed, shot, and murdered. Kamala created the border crisis. She won't fix it now. Make America Great Again, Inc. is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Insanity. Doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result.
Would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind.
Kamala wouldn't change a thing? Their weakness invited wars, welfare for illegals, while Americans struggle. Now Kamala wants higher taxes on top of higher prices. We can't afford 4 more years of Kamala.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
How extreme is Todd Novak? He thinks a woman's most private medical decisions should be up to him. Todd Novak has a 100% anti-abortion rating. He supports letting politicians ban abortion with no exceptions for rape, incest, or to save a woman's life. And Todd Novak authored the law to ban abortion here in Wisconsin. Elizabeth Grabe will defend abortion rights. She knows private medical decisions are between women and their doctors.
My husband and I were elated to find out that we would be having another baby. But after many tests, my doctors agreed that we had to terminate the pregnancy. It was the worst day of my life. You should know that Eric Hubdy supports laws that stop me and my doctor from making that decision. And that's a ban with no exceptions in cases of rape or incest. It's a ban that could turn doctors into criminals. He opposes abortion, period.
WIN Senate is responsible for the content of this ad.
Washington is corrupt. Senator Baldwin says she fights against Wall Street, and yet she lives with a Wall Street executive and gets all this money from Wall Street. She says she's standing up to Big Pharma and Big Tech, but look at the money she rakes in from Big Pharma, Big Tech, and their executives. Senator Baldwin doesn't work for you, she works for them. I'm Eric Hubdy, I approve this message. I'm not taking their special interest money, I'll only work for you.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
Donald Trump makes a lot of promises, but we can be sure of one thing. If he wins, he'll ignore all checks that rein in a president's power. It's all in Trump's Project 2025 agenda. What does that mean for you? Higher cost on groceries, cuts to Social Security and Medicare, more tax breaks for billionaires, and a national abortion ban putting women's health at risk. A second Trump term, more unhinged, unstable, and unchecked.
Coming up tonight on a special edition of the CBS Evening News, we are live from Texas, where both candidates are campaigning today. The vice president here to appear with Beyonce and draw attention to reproductive rights in the state with some of the most restrictive bans. Plus, Donald Trump makes his case in Austin, sitting down with one of the most popular podcasters in the world. That and more headlines tonight on the CBS Evening News from Houston.
Scientists want to give pig farmers a high-tech tool to help reveal how the animals are feeling. Researchers in Europe recorded thousands of swine sounds from different settings and developed an artificial intelligence algorithm to detect emotions. It showed short grunts typically indicate positive feelings, while long ones often signal discomfort. And high-frequency sounds like screams or squeals usually mean the pig is stressed a bit. Creators say the tool will eventually let farmers track their pigs' moods in real time. Alex rejoins us once again. A final check of the forecast for the weekend. Lots going on.
Yes, well, there's a lot of festivities this weekend. People want to know, well, what are we up against weather-wise? Good weather overall throughout the entire weekend. Now, if you want the 80-degree weather, you're going to have to hold off until I show you the 10-day forecast. With the Badger football game, temperatures right around 50 degrees at kickoff. By the end of the game, we'll be into the low 40s. Dress warmly. That's my recommendation for you, but that's what we should be doing. It's the end of October. Not summertime, but we have summertime temperatures in the forecast. Not quite there by Sunday, but we'll be getting closer, 61. Look at our temperatures by the time we get to Monday. Be windy, but near 80 on Tuesday. Lows in the 60s. Cold front Wednesday could bring us some storms and improving conditions on Halloween Thursday.
All right, Alex, thank you. We're back in 30 minutes for News 3 Now at 6. CBS Evening News live from Texas.